recency bias. I get it, but I don't think people realize how good this Knicks team is, but more so, I don't think they realize how well this team has been playing in the playoffs. It is June 1st, 2026, and in 2 days, the NBA Finals starts, man. This year flew by. This NBA season flew by. This whole calendar year is flying by, but we are here, man, in 2 days. The NBA Finals starts, the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks, and we're going to talk about it, man. This is All the No Rims NBA Finals preview. I go by the name of Stealth, the producer. We got Doughboy Bush. What's good, my bro, man?
Man, chilling, bro. Trying to go ahead and get ready for this finals.
Man, I'm excited, man. So for y'all that don't know, you know what I'm saying? Even for y'all who've been here, those of you guys who are new, I'm a New York Knicks fan. Now, I do support the Sacramento Kings too. That's where I'm from. That's where I live. I kind of got two teams, but a lot of y'all wouldn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I rock, man. I make my own rules. I have two teams, and I've been a New York Knicks fan since I was a kid, but I've also raised here in Sacramento, so I've always supported the Kings. I like the Kings too. Whatever, you know, think what you want about that, but you know what I'm saying? So I'm so happy my Knicks is in the finals, man. I have not seen the Knicks in the finals since 1999?
Sir.
And it just so happened to be against the San Antonio Spurs. So we meet again in the finals, man. So, you know, very exciting time for me. But if this is your first time to the channel, please hit that sub button, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about today's topic, which is the NBA Finals, man. So, Doughboy, I'm gonna let you just get straight to it, man. We just gonna talk about it, man. What are your thoughts on the matchup? We're not gonna say who you think's gonna win yet, but what are your thoughts on this? Let's start there. What are your thoughts on this matchup between the Knicks and the Spurs? Game 1 in San Antonio. We can do a game 1 preview. Who you think's gonna win the first game? You know what I'm saying? Then we'll talk about who you think's gonna win the series. But it's like, just get into the matchup. What do you think? What do you think's gonna happen?
And this is going to be an exciting matchup. I feel like it's two fresh young teams that are talented who haven't been here in quite some time. And I think that this was needed for New York. I feel like this was probably needed for San Antonio. You know, smaller market playing a major market. You know, like you just said just a minute ago, the Knicks have not been to the finals since 1999. You feel what I'm saying? That's a long, long time. Ago. So I'm really excited to see how this matchup is going to go ahead and play out. You know, I'm excited to see how OG is going to go ahead and face Wemby, because I know Wemby does not like physicality. He does not like the physical. And I know that OG is a very, very physical defender, and I know that frustrates him. So I'm excited to go ahead and see that. I want to see how his guard play matches up. I want to see how, Castle, Vassell, Fox match up with Brunson, Clarkson, Alvarado, and them boys, Mikal Bridges. So I'm kind of excited to go ahead and see how this is going to go ahead and match up, because I feel like right now on paper, when you look at both these teams, I feel like they're evenly matched up at all positions. I feel like. So I'm excited to see this.
No, I'm excited, man. So, all right. So the Knicks won 2 out of 3. They met up 3 times, and this is the first time that we've only had the NBA Cup for like three seasons now, I think. Lakers won, Bucks won, Knicks won. I believe that's how it went. So, third year, we have the two teams who matched up in the NBA Cup to match up in the NBA Finals, right? So I feel like that's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of thought then, I was like, man, this could be a Finals preview, because a lot of people were picking the Knicks to come out of the East, because at the time, Jason Tatum wasn't playing for Boston. He was still recovering from the injury. Halliburton being out. And then like people were saying, like, pretty much like, if the Knicks are going to get to the finals, this is the year you do it. And they did it, man. They're in the finals, and they're going to be matching up with the Spurs. So pretty dope that they met in the NBA Cup. But the Knicks did win that game, 124 to 113.
Yes, sir.
Let's kind of look at the stats of some of the stats of that game, and see if we could see anything that we feel may happen in this series. So Harrison Barnes played 23 minutes. That's not going to happen, because he was starting at the time. I believe, was he starting at the time?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Well, he was getting a lot of playing time for sure during that time frame.
Yeah, so he was getting a lot of tick at that time, but he hasn't been playing too much. So we know he's not going to be on the floor. Not for 23 minutes. He might play here and there, but Luke Cornett played 23 minutes. I don't see that happening. Victor Wembanyama played 25. NBA Finals, I can see him 30 and up. So it's going to be a bit of a different matchup. De'Aaron Fox got his normal output. Castle got his normal output. Vassell got his normal output. Vassell did not shoot well in the NBA Cup game. He shot 4 for 14. Castle 5 for 15. De'Aaron Fox 5 for 13. So here's the thing about it. Because the story is in the stats. And, again, that was in December, long time ago. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the Knicks are a very good defensive team. They can switch a lot. They can switch. All the guys can switch. Anunoby, Hart, Bridges. You know what I'm saying? Brunson's smaller and Cat's a little slower, but those three guys can switch. And I think that's why a lot of teams have issues with the Knicks because of those defenders. And they take pride in playing defense, man. Some of that first game again, OG had 28. I feel like he could do more of the same of that. Maybe not have 28, but I feel like he can get 20, 22, maybe have a 25-point game, 18, 16, 17. He's going to have a good scoring game because OG's like a linebacker, bro, like bulldozer. And I don't know who on that starting lineup with the Spurs can really match up with him. What do you think about the OG matchup?
Well, like I said, OG's very, very physical. He's been physical all year long. And we've seen what happens with Wemby when the physical part plays a factor into the game. He gets very frustrated. So if OG can go ahead and somewhat have his way in that manner, Wemby's going to be in for a long, series if that does take place. If he does find his groove and is physical with him and doesn't back down, then it's going to cause some problems. So
yeah,
go ahead.
No. I was going to say, I just feel like, exactly more of what you said. Just like I feel like Anunoby is going to be a really big factor for the Knicks, and I feel like he's going to be a matchup problem for the Spurs. I've been saying all year that I feel like the Spurs are a little small, man, and like I know when I say that, people they don't want to hear that. They're like, oh, what are I'm like, besides Wemby, I'm like, who really has like girth, like size, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's gonna muscle you and bang with you? You know what I'm saying? Shit, they got Champagnie playing. I think he's the quote unquote starting four, but he's like 6'8". Like, I'm like, Champagnie. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a big guy. Castle's a guard. Fox is a guard. Vassell's a guard. So there really is really Wemby and like 4 other guards, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as size. So I think the Knicks had the advantage there. They got Champagnie listed at 6'7".
Well, I've been said this, and I got slack, or I caught slack.
Well, I've been saying, I know what you're getting ready to say, and I've been saying it for all year. But go ahead.
So they're too small in the front court.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Now, like I said, of course they ended up taking care of business. They beat the OKC Thunder. We know Thunder didn't have Jalen Williams, and they also didn't have
AJ Mitchell.
AJ Mitchell. So
those still went 7 games, and they brought up within 6 when the last minute. So if they had those 2 guys, I know people don't want to hear it, but it's context. If they had those 2 guys, we could argue that it could be OKC here because Shea didn't have no help. Chet didn't give him nothing. And they still were in that game 7. So just think about that.
And my last point with this is how we talked about the front court. Champagnie being 6'7", 6'8". Who's going to guard Cat? Like, who's going to be able to defend him? Champagnie's not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, because they're talking about putting Wemby on Josh Hart, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that's for switching purposes because maybe they saw something on tape the way they like to switch and things like that. But like you said, so Champagnie's on Cat. Can't do that. You know what I mean? But I think they don't want to put Wemby on Cat because they know that's going to be a physical matchup. Cat's a big dude. I don't know if people realize how big that dude is. Big dude, he's going to be leaning on you, posting up. Wemby's going to may get in foul trouble, may get tired. They don't really want that, but they're going to get that matchup. You know what I'm saying? So
they are. It's going to be some switches to where he's going to have to defend Cat for sure. And we're going to go ahead and see from there whether or not he's going to be able to bang or whether or not Cat's going to be able to go ahead and handle, the wingspan and the length and height of Wemby when it comes down to being in that low block, because we all seen, when Wemby's down there, he does alter a lot of shots.
Yeah.
A lot of shots that these cats would normally make. Wemby, with him being down there, he's going to go ahead and do something a little bit more different to where you're going to go ahead and have to change up your shot. You might have to shoot it a little bit higher, or he might be behind you, but you're thinking, okay, I might be able to go ahead and put this up. But then all of a sudden you look up, he's blocking your shot. So they have to be a little bit more smart and calculated when it comes to figuring out how to deal with him on the offensive side of the ball. Now, we know that Wemby can go ahead and shoot. We know Cat can go ahead and shoot. So how is that going to go ahead and go? Because we're going to have 2 7-footers, 7'4", 7-footer.
Mm-hmm.
The other 7-footer, they're going to be out there on that perimeter shooting from time to time. Who's going to be down there in that low block to be able to bang with OG when it comes to the boards? If Cat does decide to bring Wemby out.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of anxious to see how this is going to go ahead and play, how the rotation is going to go ahead and go, because when you look past Wemby, you have who you have? Plumlee, who hasn't been playing. Harrison Barnes, who hasn't been playing. Is it Cornette that's over there right now? That's his backup?
Plumlee, Bismack Biyombo.
Bismack. He hasn't been playing either.
So those are your backup, bigs, for that team.
So I just, if I'm the Knicks, I'm going at Wemby every chance I can go ahead and get with my 2 bigs and trying to create as much foul problems as possible to have him sitting on these benches for long, extended periods of time throughout these games. I think that's the only way they should be able to go ahead and win this if they capitalize on that.
No, I agree, man. So let's look at that second game. So the second game they played on December 31st, which was kind of like a couple weeks after the NBA Cup, the San Antonio Spurs won 134-132. Now, when I look at that game, Champagnie had 36 points, and they won by 2. And they won by 2. That's not going to happen again. Wemby had 30.
Fox have that game?
Wemby had 31. De'Aaron Fox had 26. Keldon Johnson had 19. So it looked like you kind of see some exceptional things that happened in that game, and the Knicks still only lost by 2. And the reason I'm kind of bringing this thing up because I'm like, we're not just going to be one of those channels that be like, oh, Wemby, oh, the Spurs, because that's the last thing we saw. And a lot of y'all kind of look at sports that way. We don't. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at the context, especially me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I got a real dope boy in and kind of remind him of context. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm always looking at what's really going on. So I don't see. Did we see Champagnie scoring 40 points again? Don't really see that. You know what I mean? Fox hasn't really been a prolific scorer since he's been in San Antonio. I feel like in order for them to win this series, he's going to have big games. We'll see. But again, they won by 2 points, and I see some exceptional scoring. 26 by Fox, 36 by Champagnie. Keldon Johnson had 19.
Well, the thing about it, man,
is that going to happen again with this Mike Brown defensive led, Knicks?
Yeah,
I just
Mike Brown is definitely a defensive coach. But I will say this though, from watching the Spurs in the regular season and watching them in the playoffs, you never know who's going to go ahead and have that big game from them.
You never know.
One night it could be Fox, even though we know he's been playing inconsistent. It could be Castle, Vassell. It could be Champagnie because I know he's had some big games. It could be Johnson. We all know Wemby's going to go ahead and get his regardless. So, we don't have to even factor that in. But as long as they have that balanced scoring like they have been throughout these playoffs and this run to the NBA Finals, I definitely do see them being a hard team to kind of beat in that sense.
No, for sure. And, when it comes to the Knicks side, there's a couple guys who are no longer there. Baselli was there, in December. He was getting some tick. Jalen Brunson, he had a big game in that December 31st matchup. He had 29. Karl Towns had 20. Mikal Bridges, 13. Mikal Bridges is going to be an X factor in this series because if he can knock down that corner 3, run the floor, rebound how he normally does, he can switch on anybody on that roster. I think he's gonna be key. Mine's is gonna be I think Alvarado and but I think when you're talking about those guys, that's kind of like, okay, the guys are going to give you the bench minutes, and I do see what you're saying, but how much is Mike Brown going to play them? That's one thing too. Are these, because it's the NBA Finals, is his starters going to play 35 plus minutes every one of them? You know what I'm saying?
It just depends. It just depends on how the series goes. I could see him, like how the Spurs did, with Fox and them being on Castle and them being on the floor, Wemby and them floor for long expended time frames throughout the game. Especially if it's relatively close, you're gonna get 35 minutes. You're gonna get 33 minutes. You're gonna get 30 minutes a game. You know what I mean? Now, will that sustain in a long series? Who knows? We'll have to go ahead and see about that.
We're gonna see. I think conditioning is gonna play a big part too.
Well,
I think
we seen what Wemby looked like in Game 7 of that Western Conference
Game
Finals.
6,
He looked
Game 6, Game 6, 7. And here's the thing:
exhausted.
I noticed. Have you noticed like the way they sub Wemby out in and out? I think like. I'm not going to assume condition him. I'm going to assume, but I kind of feel like they want to make sure that he has his moments of pacing him, his energy, making sure that he's good to kind of finish the game out and to keep his his normal output out. But sometimes I feel like in those moments, if the Knicks can make runs, they're going to give themselves a chance to win. But let's talk about a little bit. Naturally, I'm a Knicks fan. Yeah, I'm a little biased, but let's talk about how the Spurs can win the series. I feel like you got to do it with speed. You got to get up and down that court.
And they've been a fast-paced team.
I don't think you're going to beat the
long.
Knicks in the half-court game if you're the Spurs. I think you got to get up and down that court, beat them in transition. You got to get Cat in foul trouble.
Definitely,
because then now you're forcing what's my man name? Like drawing a blank. Mitchell Robinson. You're forcing Mitchell Robinson to come in the game. Broken pinky. Don't feel like that's going to affect him too much because he's not really a shooter. He's in there to rebound, block some shots, in the switch. He can really switch on defense too. But if you force Cat into foul trouble and now he has to come in, that's where it's like, you know what I mean? So if you can kind of get them in trouble like that. But and then Wemby, he's a matchup problem for the whole league. So I mean, if you can get him going,
he's gonna get his regardless, bro. You know what I mean? If he comes out in that Game 7, where the first couple of buckets were threes, if he's going like that, this is gonna be a short series for sure.
Yeah. Now, in your opinion, I know a ton of people are picking the Spurs again because people it's Wemby. That's the last thing they saw. Recency bias, I get it, but I don't think people realize how good this Knicks team is. But more so, I don't think they realize how well this team has been playing in the playoffs. Now, some people may say, "Oh, they didn't play anybody, this and that." You got to play who's in front of you. But the way they beat these guys, you know what I'm saying? Because we can kind of argue. But the Spurs, like we saw some games with the Blazers. I remember when the Blazers they played first round, right? It was a couple games. I'm like, yo, if the Blazers kind of can win this game, they like, you know what I mean? But they really didn't do it. They weren't experienced enough, but they were competing. No. Minnesota, I don't really like that Minnesota team like that. Injuries, DiVincenzo wasn't there, and wasn't 100%. We know that. So, all right, we look at that. And then in the Western Conference Finals, they played OKC. Injuries again. This is really, the best team they're getting ready to play during this stretch.
I'm not mad at that. So, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for voicing that because I do feel like when you look at everything you just mentioned, injuries have played a big part in that run, for the Spurs for the Spurs to get there. And I'm not going to go ahead and just knock the Spurs, not like they're not a good team.
You play who's in front of you. You play who's in front of you.
Right. Exactly. You got to win somehow, So I'm going to be honest with you, though. For me, if the Spurs have a chance, it's the 200 and was he 232 mil or 235 mil? We know who. Hey, boy, you better wake your butt up, man. Fox, you better wake your butt up because you're not getting paid that much money, bro, for you to be too inconsistent. One night, 11 points. Another night, 27 points. Another night, 4 points. No, bro, you're getting paid that money to go ahead and be a star with Wemby. Match his energy. Don't play down the competition. I feel like at times because they need you. Because we seen when who was it? Dylan Harper was starting. Was it him or was it Harper who had them turnovers? The 11 turnovers in Game 6 and I think another 10 of them in Game 5 or whatever it was or whatever game that Fox didn't play. You know what I mean? Those are big. So Fox, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. They brought you wormed your way out of Sacramento to go ahead and go to San Antonio to play in the state that your wife is from or whatever and play with Wemby and build on with that bro, you got to step up, bro. For real.
No, I'm with you. And again, for them to win this NBA championship, he's going to have to step up. It is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's going to have to live up to whatever he's getting paid. And, if they don't win, I guarantee it's going to be because he's not going to live up to being that number 2 guy. If they don't win, I'm saying if they don't win, we're going to be looking at why they didn't win. I guarantee y'all we're going to be looking at De'Aaron Fox. Guarantee y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. We've seen it all season. When you look at his the minutes played, we look at the shooting, because people are like, oh, well, he don't got to do too much because of Castle, or the supporting cast. But it's not even about that. Look at some of these shooting performances. Like, look at like the flow. I feel like, and this is just outside of the NBA Finals, I feel like the San Antonio Spurs would be better suited with Dylan Harper in that starting lineup, building the next generation of the Spurs with Castle, even Champagnie, and Wembanyama. If you can get, I'm going to say this. If you, and again, but here's the thing: people are gonna be like, "Oh, they're in the NBA Finals." If they win, people are like, "Oh, they won it." So now it's like, okay, stand corrected. But here's my thing, right? Did you win it because of, or could you have, you know what I'm saying? But and again, if you win, you win.
Definitely, for sure, 110%.
But to me, I just feel like you're paying that guy a whole lot of money, and to me, that's more so a commitment to him being there long term. Is he a long term guy for that team? I don't know. Especially when you have the youth. You have the youth in Castle, Harper, and Wemby. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
I think about it is just Fox being in Sacramento for all those years. We've seen him.
Well, we know him. We know the guy. As far as a player.
Right. So it's like, bro, you have to kind of lightweight do the same thing here, because I'm pretty sure, you know, Vassell's gonna get his, Castle's gonna go ahead and get his, Champagnie's gonna go ahead and get his, eventually here and there. You know what I mean? For them to have 30 outputs, and you're supposed to be the number 2 guy, and you're only getting 4 points, we gotta look you in the mirror and be like, all right, you gotta look yourself in the mirror, and we gotta look at you and be like, yo, what are you brought here for? It's not to go ahead, because I've caught slack for this.
Well, it's for here. It's for this moment.
It's for this moment. Right?
It's for this moment, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just going off what we've seen this season. We've seen a little bit of inconsistencies. We've seen a little bit of like, all right, kind of leaning back and not really. But now you better show up.
Oh, he's on the. Well, you gotta understand, man. You are on the biggest you know what I'm saying, platform, stage of your life right now on the NBA Finals. You never gotten here before. You were in Sacramento for a very, very long time, where casual fans who probably haven't seen you play, probably don't know who you are as a player, a dominant player. They're going to look at you, for the ones that do know about basketball.
Interesting matchup that we haven't mentioned. De'Aaron Fox versus Mike Brown. Mike Brown knows him. You know what I'm saying? He coached him for 3 years, right? And that's why I kind of feel like that's going to be interesting too, because he knows his strengths, he knows his weaknesses. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he knows the guy. So, and then De'Aaron Fox is not as good as he was 4 years ago. Like, let's be honest, he's not. Like, you know, I don't think so. Like, we saw that before he even left here. And then when he went down there, we haven't really seen that flashy, like, crazy. Like, we haven't seen that guy since Game 7 of the first round with the Golden State Warriors in 2004. I mean, excuse me, no, we're 2024. We haven't seen that guy. So, you know, and we're bringing this up because in the NBA Finals, there's the margins of error is so small. And because, you know, especially in the series, you guys learn each other so fast. You know, they're watching game tape right now. They're looking back to the 3 games they played. How did we win? How did we lose? What are the matchups and what it is? So these coaches are so good. These players are so good. These teams are coming in prepared. So again, the margins of those little things that, you know what I'm saying, that you need to be able to do to win championships, they're going to matter. And I feel like when somebody is being paid, well, the highest paid player right now, because Wemby ain't got his big contract, he's the highest paid player on the Spurs, got to show up, dog. Like, so we'll see. We'll see.
No, I agree. And I do feel like he's going to be the one that we have to go ahead and rely on to be like, hey, look, bro, we need you to step up. We need you to go ahead and help out. At this point, please just go ahead and give the output that you gave when you was in Sacramento, when you led them to a game 7 against the Warriors.
I honestly don't.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to be the guy no more.
No. When I say that guy, I mean, like, as far as
I know what you mean.
The type of player that I don't think he's that.
Right.
I think he lost a bit of a step. And here's the thing: speedy guards don't have like long careers of being the speedy guy. We kind of see those type of players evolve to, like, you know, more playmakers or better shooters or better defenders. And I feel like he's kind of like finding his way within that space as he gets older. People might say, well, he's only 29, but again, y'all who want to hit me with that, give me one speedy guard who has stayed a speedy guard and just kept that same type of play up for 15 seasons.
Rare.
No, you don't see it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of change it up. And he's never been a great playmaker. He's never been a great shooter. Good, but great? No. What he excelled was in his speed, getting up and down the floor and making guys just, you know what I'm saying, miss him, crossing dudes up, stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. Devin Vassell, he's been playing very well. The thing with him is like he can get hot. He can get hot.
He can. He's definitely a and you don't want things like that to go ahead and happen.
No, and the thing with him too, he's like a spark plug for them. Like I noticed, like when he was getting hot, you know, he's getting pumped up, and he'll hit like 2-3 in a row, and it's like, you know, that San Antonio Spurs crowd gets going. You know, and that's the thing too. It's like home court advantage is going to be a big thing for both teams because both crowds and both fan bases are going to go crazy, especially in New York. Y'all got to realize they are thirsty for a championship right now.
1999, bro.
And you got to think like those OGs, like they're sitting courtside. The Patrick Ewings, the Larry Johnsons, the Latrell Sprewells, and John Stark. You know what I'm saying? Bernard King. They're sitting courtside. They're like this. Go get it. You feel me? And I love that. I love that because as a player, as a Knicks player, you see those guys like, damn, we want to go get it for them. Not only for us, but we want to go get it for y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's going to be a 4-1 series like how it was in '99 when the Spurs beat the Knicks. I don't think that's going to go ahead and happen in my opinion.
Honestly, I'd be surprised if either team just like blew out the other team. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people are expecting the Spurs to do that because they just, again, recency bias, people, you know, the hype. But if you really know hoop, this is going to be a good matchup. This is not going to be, you know, I think we're going to get some good games. I don't really see, do you see any blowouts, like as far as game to game? I feel like we always get at least one or two.
I'm going to actually go out on a limb and say game one's going to be a blowout because it's in fact of how long the Knicks had a layoff for.
So you think Spurs blow out first game?
I'm just going to go throw it out there. Yeah, it's in San Antonio. You know, in their home, you know, on their home court with their crowd. They just got done playing 3 or 4 nights ago or 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. Yeah. So they're still relatively rolling, you know, in that sense, to where the Knicks had a good week and a half layoff, maybe a little bit longer. So, you know, those layoffs, they do play a factor. Yeah, it helps out your veteran guys and people who are kind of hurt, you know, throughout the season for them to go ahead and get a little bit of a rest. But then also we always seen, you know, when you get rest, and you come out in game one, sometimes you play flat. You know, you're not shooting the ball well, or you're not playing defense well, or something like that. So, you know, I do feel like if San Antonio comes out like they did in game 6 or game 7, I do feel like game 1 will be a blowout in San Antonio, and I think that will probably be the only game I see being a blowout, to be honest with you, if it happens.
Bench. Who has a better bench?
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I think these guys are kind of evenly matched up. I do think that, in my opinion,
I'm just curious.
Well, I'm going to say that. You know, Dylan Harper, if you can go ahead and kind of alleviate the turnovers and things of that nature. You know,
he's a boy. He's
yeah, definitely. I just don't know after you get past, you know, Castle Vassell, you don't really have nobody. Champagny and Keldon Johnson kind of interchange, and it's just Wemby. So for me, yes, I mean, I do like the San Antonio's roster, but I do feel like when you look at this Knicks roster, they're deeper when it comes to their point guard situation, their shooting guard situation, their small forward. You know, we're not talking about Jordan Clarkson enough, you know, about what he's been doing defensively and shooting and, you know, throughout these playoffs. You got OG. I don't know who's really behind him. And then you have Mitchell Robinson behind, you know,
Miles McBride is somebody who people are forgetting about. But he's coming and had huge games as a spark plug off the bench. You got Clarkson, you got Shamet,
you got Landry,
you got Shamet, who's not afraid, who got experience. You know, so I mean, again, Mitchell Robinson, we're talking about him. They're about 8-9 deep to where they, you know what I'm saying, they can give guys rest and, you know, kind of plug and play, you know, situational things and situational moments. You know, again, I do think the Knicks have the better bench. I think, you know, I think they do have the better bench.
I agree.
But I mean, and that's gonna matter. Let's not act like that's not gonna matter.
Yeah,
because somebody is gonna have a big game or have to have a big moment or a big play, a big steal, something off that bench.
Well, what defines, or what is the difference between the Knicks and the Spurs outside of you having Luke Cornett, you have Bisback Biombo, or however you say his name, and then you got Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox. But when you look at as far as veteran leadership, when you look at this Knicks team, bro, they got a lot of veteran leaders here too as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To where that can get overlooked, and people who have had playoff experience, beforehand too, as well. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and say, unbiased opinion, the Knicks do have a better roster on paper and a deeper team on paper. It's just what can they do output wise, because we've seen them, and I said this in past podcast episodes beforehand. The problem with the Knicks is they get too lax. They play with their food. You cannot play with your food at this big stage of your career and on this platform. You cannot do it. On this stage here, you cannot sit back and miss shots and think that you're going to be able to shoot your way back in the game like how they did when they were the last series. They played against when they were down. You can't do that, especially against a team like the Spurs, because if you get down by 25, 30, it ain't going to be no letting off that gas pedal, I feel like.
Two more things I want to talk about real quick. Coaching advantage. Mike Brown versus Mitch Johnson. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, Mike Brown's been around, championship pedigree. He's won with the Warriors. He understands what it takes. He's
Cavaliers,
defensive Cavaliers. Yes, with Bron. And my thing is, he's a defensive-minded coach.
Yes,
I'm always big on defense. I don't care what sports you play. Defense wins championships. And if you have a defensive-minded coach like that, that's going to get into you and tell you what you need to go ahead and do and where to go ahead and get to in your spots to go ahead and defend, this is where Mike Brown's experience, championship, rings come into play. I feel like this will be, a chess game for him. Will it be for
Mitch Johnson?
Mitch Johnson, because I know he's relatively young. He's inexperienced. Granted, I know he took over for Pop when Pop had, his health issues and things of that nature. So, I don't know. Does he have any veteran coaching on that staff?
Mitch Johnson. I'm not sure about his staff. I'm not sure about his staff.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm kind of wondering about that. Like, who's on that staff that's like kind of their leadership in a sense, because he's relatively young. He's playing with a bunch of relatively young players.
What I like about
experience is going to play factor into that.
What I like about Mike Brown versus Mitch Johnson, again, the experience, right? We talk about that. I feel like some of the things I've seen in Mitch Johnson, and it's just, I'm just being 1,000% real. I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like sometimes when I look at Mitch Johnson in certain moments, I feel like a little too emotional. In regards to like the pacing of the game. Sometimes I feel like if it's not going the Spurs way, you kind of see him get like a little like rattled or like upset or like mad and calling time out. And like, here's my thing, like that's cool, but like you don't really see that with Mike Brown. You didn't really see that here. You don't see that in New York. It's like even kill. And here's my thing, like I always compare my coaches to like a pilot. Do you want a pilot all happy and this and that, and when everything's going well, and like as soon as like it's turbulence, oh shit, like now he gets emotional? Nah, I want my pilot even kill. Like I don't want him too high, I don't want him too low, because he's steering this plane. You know what I'm saying? He's so I want my coach like that too. I don't want you too high, I don't want you too low. And I feel like Mitch Johnson gets a little too emotional. I've seen when it comes to just like, and it's not about passion. Like people are like, oh, well, it's not about passion. It's just about like, yo, like you're the leader. You know what I'm saying? So like sometimes I feel like. So let
me ask you this. Thing. Okay. Kind of. I don't mean to cut you off about that. Does that kind of help his team in getting them to be motivated and pumped up when you have an animated coach like that instead of a male mannered coach
here's my thing. Chill? Because possibly, but some people respond to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And maybe I'm speaking from a personal like preference, because for me, I don't respond to a lot of emotion, whether good or bad. I don't, because but good or bad though. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's not. I don't respond to hype, and I don't respond to like a whole bunch of negativity. I'm not like that. What's going on? What do we need to do?
Right.
I don't need all the extras. You know what I'm saying? And I like my coaches that way because you know what I'm saying. I feel like when you're that type of coach, it's kind of like, okay, are you going to be in full control of a situation in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there is a little bit of that. I'm not gonna say it because people ain't gonna understand that part. But I just like I like more even kill to where it's like you're locked in and you're always like, okay, we're not gonna get too high, we're not gonna get too low in the moment. If you know what I'm saying, even when Mike Brown loses in the press conferences, it's like, bro, it's like
he's just chilling.
It's
cool.
Just like
cool on the other side of the pillow. Like,
I want my pilot even kill. I don't want my pilot too high. I don't want him too low. Because you're the one flying the plane. You know what I'm saying? So the players, get all hyped up if you want. But my coach, I want you because then if I'm looking for you, because you just said something, does that get your players motivated? But if I'm looking for you for that, and in the moment we're losing or things aren't going well, and you're not hyped up, then I'm like, oh shit, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like
what am I going to do?
So I don't need.
Now, I agree.
You shouldn't have to look for that or need that in order for you to stay locked in to, for the task at hand. That's just my opinion.
Gotcha.
Some people think opposite. That's just my opinion.
Got you. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
Our last thing I want to ask you, and we haven't even talked about him. We didn't even mention him all. No, Jalen Brunson versus Wemby as far as a star versus star. What's your thoughts, man? Who's gonna show up? Who's gonna show up? Is it both gonna show up? Do you feel like
they're both showing up?
Okay.
Brunson showing up, Wemby showing up. I love this matchup, bro. I love it to death, bro, because it's two superstars who really haven't been here, and they have something to prove to those who don't know them like that.
But wait, wasn't Jalen Brunson in the finals with Luka?
He was it the finals when they were in there? I know that they were. I know he was on one of them teams, but I don't know if it was a championship team. I know that he was on.
Maybe not.
Now that they just went to the playoffs,
Western Conference Finals. I remember they got kind of
yeah.
I
think it's Western Conference. I don't never think they went to the finals. I don't think.
Well, Luka went to the finals. I was wondering if he was on that roster though.
No, I don't think Brunson was on that roster.
He was already in New York. Okay, yeah.
I think he was in New York at that time. So yeah, for me, yes. I feel like this is going to be primetime must-see TV because Wemby is starting to get into his own, and you can see his character coming out, and I love it. And you see Brunson's been doing this for quite some time now. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. And again, he's chill too. Brunson, did you see when they won the Eastern Conference Finals, and he got the little Eastern Conference player? And he chilling. I'm chilling. Hey, you know what that gave me? And I think I text y'all. Job not finished with the Kobe. That was the vibe I got. And when you see, Wemby crying, this and that, again, the emotion. And I'm like, again, that could work for you, but it could also work against you. And I think we're going to see. Yeah. I just feel like having that even kill attitude is more. That's more so what I want to see from my team. Because I don't want you too high and I don't want you too low. You haven't won nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a huge accomplishment to get to the NBA Finals for sure. But the way the Knicks acted when they won, it was like I remember Landry Shamet was interviewing with Ernie and Charles Barkley and them. He was just like, "Yeah, man, we did this and we took care of business, and we're gonna get some rest, and hopefully not too much, and we're gonna wait and see. And we're gonna watch." Like it was just like Brunson the same way. It's just like, bro, they're like you could tell they're on a mission. They're focused, and I'm not saying the Spurs aren't. Yes, they are, but very two different types of teams. New York is a little bit older and more mature. You got Cat who's older, you know what I'm saying? Brunson who's been around, you know what I'm saying? Mike Brown, again, experienced coach. Josh Hart has been from team to team, older guy, experience, OG, locked in, you know what I'm saying? Michael Bridges has been to the finals with Phoenix Suns. So it's like they have the experience, and I feel like, I'm going to say it right now, I feel like the New York Knicks will win the NBA championship against the San Antonio Spurs because of Wemby is an alien for sure.
Definitely.
But the thing is, when you look at Wemby's numbers, and somebody brought this up too, and I was in there thinking this too, Wemby don't really have crazy stat games all the time. 22 points, 25 points, you know what I'm saying? Like, You know, I'm looking at one of the Knicks games right here. 18 points, 6 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? 1 assist, 1 steal. That's just, you know, man, I'm not saying he's going to have that type of game every game, but he's going to have some games are going to look like that for Wemby. That's where you and I said.
He balled his ass out.
No. But listen to what I'm saying. You got to listen to the whole context of what I'm saying. I'm not saying every game is going to look like that. Yeah. He's going to have a big game here and there, but I don't think all 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8 games, 7 games are going to look like Wemby going off for 45, 25 rebounds, and 10. It's not going to look like that. And that's where you and I said De'Aaron Fox has to step up. We haven't really talked about Castle. What do you think? Like, what's going to be the matchup with him? You know what I'm saying? I think him and Bridges, I think, are going to be an interesting kind of.
Bro, I see so many different matchups that are going to go ahead.
And the matchups is going to be crazy.
I'm going to have to keep my eye on it because, you know, he gets a little Vassell. You know, we seen what he did the last game when he was turned up and was ready to damn near fight. So, you know, with him and the way he plays,
younger guys in general are more emotional. Like, even in just real life, I noticed that, like, the way they, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that can get the best of you, bro. Like, it really can, man. We're going to see. I just feel like, the older team, the more,
you got the Knicks in how many games?
How many games?
How many games? I know you're a Knicks fan. I know you want New York to go ahead and win. You know what I'm saying? Who do you have?
Whoever wins, I'm going to say this. Because even if the Knicks don't win, this series is not going 7.
No.
I say 6 for either team.
I'm going 6 too.
I say 6 for either team. But so I'm going to say Knicks and 6. I'm going to say Knicks and 6.
You can go either way. I'm going to go ahead and lean more towards the Knicks side of it because of the experience that they have coaching wise. And then the experience that they have on that roster. But like I said, if they show me anything like they did in them first couple rounds of where had games where they were, had leads to where they've blown them, sitting around pussyfooting and stuff like that. Yeah, you're going to be in for a long series, again, my guys.
And some people might think we're crazy because, again, like everybody's on the Spurs train right now. But some of the reasons I think that the Knicks are going to win is because, like I said, that the even kill attitude, they don't get too high, they don't get too low, whether they win or lose. When they're blowing out the Hawks for 50 points, they're like, all right, next game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like with that, I also feel like coaching, I feel like Mike Brown is going to have the coaching advantage and his staff. I just feel like he's going to be a little sharper, and I kind of feel like I said, the Spurs haven't really played a complete roster, complete team like this in the playoffs yet. Right?
Right.
When we look at from the Blazers to the Timberwolves to the OKC Thunder. And again, I feel like OKC would have beat them had they had AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams. They're the 2 huge players that they didn't have. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Mitchell's really the number 2. It's not Chet Holmgren. So they didn't have him. I feel like they would have been OKC, and to me, in my opinion. So you're playing a team that has their full roster. For one, you're playing a really good team who's already beat you twice this season. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So those are the reasons why I feel like the Knicks are going to win. I do feel like they will still win in San Antonio. I know that you said you feel like San Antonio is going to win game 1. I feel like the Knicks get game 2. And yeah. So what are your thoughts? Who you got winning, and why?
I got the Knicks in 6, and like
really,
I said,
I'm surprised.
I'm going off of.
I'm surprised you didn't get the Spurs winning.
Well, like I said, I love the Spurs. I mean, they're a good team. I feel like this is going to be, like I said, a good matchup for both. For both teams. I don't feel like it's lopsided on one end versus the other. But I just feel like for me, the inexperience in coaching and the inexperience of their players is going to play a factor into something like this. Like I said, Mike Brown's been there with the Warriors, with the Cavs. Of course he has Steph Curry, Clay, LeBron. No, but
it's the experience of the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I feel like Brunson is not going to let this team falter. He's going to carry this on his chest and on his back and be like, look, we got to figure this out.
I ain't gonna lie. Game 3 is gonna be a motherfucker in MSG. That arena is gonna be so turned up. I wish I could be there. Oh my god!
It just all depends on what that series is at that point. So I know it probably still be. I know it'll still be rocking, but if you go down 2-0 into New York, it's kind of like
If you're the Knicks, you're saying.
Yes.
I don't
If
think
you're
the Knicks go
you
down.
can't- you
I don't
can't-
think the
you
Knicks
can't
go down.
You can't go
I
down.
don't.
You can't go down 2-0 in New York.
Okay, so if the Spurs win, I think you're going to have huge defensive games.
Yes.
In San Antonio.
Yes.
If they go, you know what I'm saying? I think like you're going to have to like demoralize the Knicks. I'm talking like you got to have great shooting games and you got to get turnovers, create turnovers. You got to run. You know, you got to play fast. You got to get those threes up and you got to get them down early. But if you keep them hanging around and it's a close game going into the fourth quarter, I feel like the Knicks, they're poised. They've been there. They don't get rattled. The Knicks don't get rattled.
Okay.
I've seen San Antonio get a little rattled when it comes to like things like not going their way. Like, and I don't want to say like again, people are gonna be like, oh, they're in the finals. Yeah, they're in the finals. But I'm talking about certain moments. You just see certain things and it adds up. Again, the margin of error, the margin of those little things, it all matters when you get to this space. When you get to the finals. And that's why I kind of feel like, you know, your deficiencies.
My last question for you.
Yes.
Who's matching up with who? Jalen is guarding who, and Fox is guarding who? Do these guys?
Well, I think it's gonna be Jalen and Fox.
With each other?
I think it's gonna be Jalen Brunson and Fox guarding each other. If you're talking about like
you think
that, yeah.
You think it's gonna be them two guarding each other?
And Brunson's gonna. Brunson has nothing. I don't think Fox is gonna be able to stop Brunson. Like. I've seen better defenders on Brunson, and he still cooks. Like,
right. I mean, neither one of them can play defense, in my opinion. I feel like
Brunson's little because he's little. He's not known as a defender, you know.
And Fox is not known as a defender neither.
But Fox, again, he ain't been playing that great. He ain't been. His numbers and the way he been playing ain't nothing to write home about right now. So it's not like I don't feel like Jalen Brunson is really worried about that. But I do feel like that's going to, I mean, yeah, not worried. Yeah, like Fox is Fox, but he's, you know, I think he's good. I think he's good defensively.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be fun to watch though, man.
It is.
And again, even though I got the Knicks winning, I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs win. Like
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs won either. For me, I just don't see this going in a 7-game series. I don't know why I don't see it either. For either team, whoever wins, I don't see it 7. I don't see it either. I would be shocked if it is 7. I would be shocked because these teams just don't seem like a game 7 type.
It doesn't.
Series. Like,
but I feel like that OG Mikal Bridges, if they show up, you know Brunson gonna show up.
But I mean, hey, look, y'all.
OG and Mikal. So here's the thing: for the Knicks, if I had to pick 2 players, it's those 2. For the Spurs, I'm picking Fox, and Champagnie.
Because Champagnie's been having some big games for them.
If those 2 show up, it's going to be tough for the Knicks. If Mikal and OG show up, it's going to be tough for the Spurs. Oh, I can't. Okay. Hey, this is going to be fun, man.
No, it is. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
Man, we went a little longer than I thought we would, but hey, you know, let us know what you think. I know a lot of y'all going to be mad because a lot of y'all want the Spurs to win. A lot of y'all, what are you talking about? But I feel like a lot of people.
Comments. I don't care. We're going to respond to them joints. You know,
here's my thing. Just be respectful. Just be respectful. Give us your opinion in a respectful way. You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad. Don't get emotional. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let us know what you think, man. But I know a lot of y'all be Spurs fans. A lot of y'all Wemby's fans. And a lot of y'all talk from emotion. Y'all don't really talk from a place of like really knowing hoop like that. You can get mad at me all you want, but you know, people be emotional, bro. They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Definitely. Agree.
I'm gonna say it. I'm being emotional, man. Talk from context. Let's talk from facts. Let's talk matchups. Let's talk, you know what I'm saying? Tell us why you think the Spurs are gonna win. They're not here for no reason. I said I'm giving them props, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win. I'm naturally gonna pick the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. All that no rim.
All that no rim. Still the producer, Doughboy Bush, man. Hey, we got a hell of a matchup coming up. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Game 1, post game 1.
Oh hell yeah! Okay, it's got to for sure.
Well, I think we need to go live. Like, just go live after like game 1 or something.
Nah, I don't care about that neither. Either or.
You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get to it, man.
All festivities.
If you got through this whole thing, man, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you. Yes, Tap in with us. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Let us know what you think. Knicks versus Spurs should be a fun one.